Hi, welcome back to Hunt Hill at Home. I hope you're all hanging in there. Today we are going to do some treasure books. And I'll show you exactly what a treasure book is in a little bit. But first, I don't want to forget my joke of the day. So, here's our joke. The other day, a book fell right on top of me. I had no one to blame but my shelf. Alright, so here is our treasure book. I made an example treasure book before, but I only just barely started it before this video. So it's unfinished, but at least you can see a little bit. So here's my treasure book. And the nice thing about a treasure book is that unlike regular books, you can put things in here. So in my treasure book, I'm going to be putting some leaves and other things that I've found in here. So I have this little violet leaf that I put in there, and I'm going to show you how to make it so you can put things like leaves into your book and any other little things that are thin enough to fit inside the book, and then how to put this whole book together so that you can share it with your friends and family. So we'll get started. There's three big steps. The first step is you have to find the things you want to put in your book. Now I did this step without you because this would be a really long video if I showed you all the steps. So I already grabbed up a whole bunch of little leaves that I want to put in there, and I just grabbed little ones so that I knew I'd be able to see the whole thing when I put it into the pages here. Next thing you're going to need is some wax paper, and I cut some strips already that are the size that I want. And you're going to need something to iron with. Now, if you are a kid, make sure that you've got adult permission and supervision to do this. You don't want to get burnt by your iron. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take your wax paper, and you're going to set whatever you want to iron in right on top of there. So I've got this little dandelion leaf. I'm going to set that right in there. And then you fold it over so that it's sandwiched between the two sides of wax paper, like this. Now this is important because the wax on the wax paper is what seals it in. And so we're going to use our iron to seal the wax and melt the wax a little bit. And I've got mine on pretty high. I could probably have it on a little bit lower. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But when you take a look at this here, you can see that it's not as white in some of the places, and it's got kind of those little bubbles in there. That's showing that the wax is melted and resealed. Also, if I tried to separate out these two pieces of paper, I couldn't anymore because they're sealed together pretty well. So, I've got this all set. I'm going to do that for the other leaves I've got as well. Some are trickier because they've got lots of little leaves on them. Like I've got this wood sorrel. Wood sorrel has heart-shaped leaves. And I want to make sure that all three of my heart-shaped leaves are pressed down. There we go. Now you might be wondering, why am I putting this in wax at all? Why don't I just put them straight into my treasure book? Well, the thing is, if I were to put these leaves straight in, they're going to dry out and they'll crumple. When they're in the wax, they're going to stay just about the same as they are. I kind of cooked this one a little bit. You can see it changed color from a bright green to it almost brown. All right. right, I'll do my clover next. Oops. And I curled one of those leaves, so I'm going to fix it up. Okay, I have two more. This is our strawberry leaf, and it looks kind of like a clover, except it's got serrated edges, which make it look like a knife almost. And here's our last one. I have a plantain leaf with me. Now, has anyone watching guessed what this is? So this, all of my treasures that I picked today are all wild edibles, all things that you can eat straight from the ground. So my treasure book's going to have a theme. You might have a different theme for your treasure book. That's totally fine. All right. So now comes the part where we're going to actually assemble this treasure book. So you're going to need some other things now. I don't need my iron anymore. I'll set that to the side. What I do need is some paper and a ruler, some scissors, some glue. I'm using this glue stick because it seems to be the easiest, and a pencil. So first, you're going to take a normal piece of paper and you'll cut it in half. Then, what you're going to do is you want to make a little short tab. This is the tab that connects your pieces of paper together. So I'm going to just kind of fold that over so it's about the same size as my other tabs. So here's one. It's just a little flap there. And then there's another. Now each of these is going to be its own page, and I want to fold it over so that they're about equal on both sides. Then, with this, I need to have a little window in here so I can view whatever treasure I've got. So here's my little treasure. It's got a window around it. So I'm going to draw a little window in here. And I'm going to use my ruler to get straight lines. If you're not a perfectionist, you don't have to use a ruler. You can just freehand it. But I like to have some straight lines going on. Now here's a trick to help you cut out something that's in the very center of something. What you can do is you can take your pencil and poke a little hole in the middle here. There's the little hole. That way I have somewhere to put my scissors so that I don't have to bend or fold my paper at all to get this cut out. Voila! I have a window. So I'm going to put one of my plants into that window. And then I can use my pencil to trace where I'm going to need to cut it so that it will fit in that window. You want to leave a little bit of overhang so there's a spot for the glue. Wax paper is so fun to cut. It's kind of like cutting wrapping paper. So here's my little plantain leaf. I'll put it right in this window, and I'm going to use my glue stick to glue it in. So I can put glue around all of these edges here. Stick it in right there. And then I can put a little bit of glue around the edges of the other page. And now I can close it up. So there, I've got my little treasure. Now I can connect it to the rest of the book. So all of these are exactly the same kind of page as this. And all I have to do to connect it is I put some glue on the little tab here. And I can connect that right to this page. So now that plantain leaf is part of the rest of my book. I'll have to put all the rest in later and see what it looks like, but let me come closer to the camera so you can see. You can definitely use this to help write any notes if you're studying any leaves. So I've got my violet. I can write things like it's heart-shaped. I can write what color flowers it's got, all sorts of stuff. So there's my little treasure book. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you get a chance to play around with using some wax paper. Maybe you don't even create a book. Maybe you just make some wax paper art. That's great too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Monday at 1 o'clock. Bye.